Hi everyone, this is my run on Howling wins Tiamat with in the DFFOO global version of the game, and this is going to be a standard Machina Blitzkrieg run. First off, turn order is quite important, so at the start I reset until I get a turn order of Selphie, Machina and Garnet. On Selphie's turn, I have her use Faris LD call, Wall and Rapture. Wall is actually quite important. You do need the debuff evasion to evade the paralysis from the Thunderbolt attack. Note though, even with Wall, Thunderbolt has an 8% chance to inflict paralysis per unit. So if you do get paralyzed on either Selphie or Machina, you will probably have to reset and try again. Having said that, 8% is pretty low, so you likely won't be able to get paralyzed during the fight. And then on Machina's turn, I had him do LD followed by his BT+. Alright, so coming to Garnet's turn, if you look at the HP percentage of the bosses, I'm pretty close to the 79% turn warping threshold already. At 79%, the bosses will get 3 instant turns and warp their turns to the front. And if they haven't acted yet, they will also get a full recast bar as well. And on top of that, they will get 999% Brave and HP damage resistances during their instant turns. You just have to let them have their 3 instant turns each in a row in order to dispel the Brave and HP damage resistances. Anyway, on Garnet's turn, I actually used the Raines LD call to trigger the HP threshold and to also turn manipulate Selphie so that she acts next again. The 3 instant turns that the bosses get is actually pretty harmless if you have used Faris LD call. So right here I'm just using her Paradox Thunderflash to trigger the 79% turn warp on boss A. Now in between the 3 turns, Machina's counter attack from his LD debuff allowed my Garnet to have one more turn here, and this is where I actually squeezed in her BT+. Now because both bosses are still in the midst of their 3 instant turns, Garnet's BT+ will suffer from the 999% Brave and HP damage reduction, so it will hit for practically nothing, but this is actually done on purpose. The reason behind that is that I want to go into BT mode with Machina before the 49% turn warping threshold, and so I don't want to actually damage the bosses too much, otherwise I won't be able to fit in the Ramza BT+ attack before Machina's burst mode. Also right here, if you look at the turn order, you have Selphie and Machina acting next, which is the ideal situation. If Thunderbolt managed to inflict paralysis, or if Selphie gets broken and delayed, then you may want to reset the fight again. However, the chances of that happening is actually pretty low. Faris LD call is actually pretty good for the turn warping mechanic at this stage, mainly because firstly her attack down reduces the potency of the HP poison that the bosses will inflict on you, and importantly her dancing dagger debuff will gravity shave the boss Brave to 0 after each turn that they take, thereby giving you a layer of protection and preventing the bosses from launching any massive HP attacks. So the turn warping mechanic at 79% is over, and I'm back to Selphie's turn because of the Raines LD call turn manipulation that I used earlier. So right here I just used the Faris base call just to refresh the buffs a little bit and to also uptick the overhead charge on Garnet by 1 before I swap her out for the Ramza friend support. And here I just go into a BT+ with Ramza. This is, I guess, the reason why it was quite important to have Garnet's BT Plus done during the midst of the turn warping mechanic, because as you can see, Boss B is already at 52% HP. So if I use Garnet's BT Plus and it did the usual 1 million damage, I would have exceeded the HP threshold and triggered the second turn warp at 49%. After Kate Sith LD call, Boss B is actually at 50% sharp, so I was cutting it pretty close. I did use additional ability with Machina one more time here just to uptick the overhead on Garnet by another tick before I go into burst mode. On hindsight, it was actually probably better to use the additional ability before Kate Sith LD call, because doing that will allow me to have 6 full buffs on Machina rather than the 5 buffs that he currently has. Anyway, that's it really for this fight. The BT mode in Machina is pretty standard, with just using his HP plus attack every turn and creating a launch due to the Rapture debuff from Selphie. Faris LD call works really well here because this party actually has a total of 8 debuffs, including the Faris LD call. So Faris LD call inflicts 5. You have 1 LD call debuff from Machina, Thunder Imperil from Garnet, and Rapture debuff from Selphie for a total of 8 debuffs. If you don't have Faris LD call, another alternative option is to use either Cater LD call or Setzer base call to inflict the freeze debuff on the bosses. Anyway, that's it for this run. As always, if you enjoyed the content, please leave a like, comment or subscribe. It really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Lithuania fight. Bye!